So we're getting ready to hang a mold now. We're actually going to use this one right here. So before anything, what we like to do is just set out our tools, make sure we have enough. Once again, we have the strap through the eye bolt, retainer strap, breaker bar, the correct size eye bolts, correct hex. We're going to need 8 of these toe clamps. They're actually located over here. If you need them, we actually kept the ones that we had from our other molds. They're all pretty much universal. And that's pretty much it, what we're going to need. What we like to do next is actually go over to the machine and verify what kind of knockout bars it has. You can see right here, it has these ones right here. They're the vertical. And you can see back here. If you need to change them, if you're using a different mold, knockout bars are over here. And there's all different diameters, all different lengths. So really, it's a good idea to sort of verify them and match them up before anything. And so what we come and do next is verify that the mold we're going to hang has the same knockout pattern. And so we're just eyeballing this right now, and from past experience we can tell you that this one works. It's a good idea if you haven't used it before and there's no one around to really ask and verify, to actually get out a measuring tape and measure this to make sure that it's going to work before you attempt to hang the mold. And so first things first, just seat that eye bolt in there. Again, you do not have to torque it down. It will be fine as long as it's snugged up. Right about there. Next, take this, strap right through the eye bolt. You get your buddy on the crane to basically position it. But once again, it's better to have more people on this. And so I'd usually wait until you can get a guy on this retaining strap to make sure that this mold doesn't swing everywhere. And we're good. Now what we're going to want to do is put a little bit of tension on this. Get your buddy with the retaining strap. About there. And then what you're going to do is we're actually going to lift it out and put it on over here. So what you're going to want to verify also is just the locator ring. Ours was left in here. There are different sizes of these, and on the back of your mold you're going to see a locator ring that's out there too, and this will fit in it. So this goes here, and you're just going to want to verify that they're the same size, so your mold will actually fit in here tight and locate that sprue for your nozzle. Okay, what we're going to do now is we set it in place. Basically, we're going to start dropping it down and locate it on this locator ring, and it should fit in there snug, and then we're going to attach it. So right now we're going to drop it down. So right now, we put it in the basic place it wants to be. It's just shy of being in there. And so what we're going to start to do is start putting on those toe clamps just to get it basically secure, and then we can sort of thread it in there using those toe clamps. So we just put our mold in, we put our toe clamps in. What we're going to want to do now is still while we have tension here, you'll notice that this platen's actually closer. We moved it forward, we took all this out, we're checking something else. You should never drop in a mold which, when the platen is this close, you'll inevitably hit something, probably mess something up. So it always should be way far back. Right now ours is forward. But anyway, you're going to still want tension on here. You can see that your mold will still shift quite a bit. And so what you're going to want to do is go pick up a level, sit that on there, and you're going to want to level your mold, which will help your flow in the mold. So right now, we're just going to sort of put those toe clamps in, tighten them down a little bit, and then you can come in with like a lead hammer, just bang on it, and come up here and get it until it's level. And then what you're going to want to do is just tighten up those toe clamps, and you should be good.
Alright, so now that we've got all our toe clamps hand tight, we're actually going to go ahead and tighten them down. So you got your Allen key here, you put that in like that. Ideally, you use a torque wrench for this, but We don't do that, so you want to have the same guy tighten all four so that he gets the feel of how tight each bolt is. And the key here is to, you know, this thing weighs 500 pounds. You don't want it to go anywhere. You want to get it tight, but you don't want to get it like, you don't want to be hanging off of this thing, getting it so tight that you like strip the screw, because that would be really bad. And it takes a couple passes to get it really tight. That's probably good on that one. And I'm just going to go around on to the other three and tighten them the exact same amount.
So right now what we're going to do, you can see that this is all torqued down by one man, the great Joe Bauer. So we're going to take these straps off, loosen it up. This one you can take off right now. Remember, that's just your sort of retainer line. We like to drop it over here so it's not in anyone's way. And now we're going to loosen this crane up. No more tension, so it's really going to be held on. The mold is going to be held on by these 4 toe clamps. So you're going to want to make sure those are snug, really in the meat of that channel, so they have a lot to grip on, and hopefully the person that torqued it down did a great job. It's a good idea to double check that.
You want to also make sure that when you're on here, when you do lower, you start to look to see if anything's shifting or moving. So if it ends up, you know, shifting, you might have to tighten something up, or this mold might not be fully on here. So you just gotta make sure, be aware of that when you're loosening it. All right, so after you secure this side on, the next thing is to attach the B-side clamps onto the B-side. So what you have to do is make sure you move this platen all the way forward and against the molds to secure the B-side clamps onto that. So what you gotta do is close this. You're going to come to here. You have to make sure your motor's on. You're going to turn up on setup mode. You're going to come over here and close the mold. As you can see, this will move this closer. And as you can see from here, the mold is not completely closed against the platen. The platen and the mold are not close to each other, so we have to make sure that we move the carriage. So the carriage is this whole thing back here. I'll actually open up. So this opens and closes, so it folds up and closes out. So we're at the full limit of that moving, but then this whole entire carriage actually shifts backwards. So what we're going to do is adjust that so we can attach the B-side onto this. So you close. Comes here, you can take it out of setup, and then it's these ones down here. So this is molds close. And you have to look at this, and it moves extremely slow. So you come to where it's touching, right there, and then you're good, and you're going to apply the clamps now.
So now we're going to apply these toe clamps again. So what you're going to want to do is just go in as usual. You've already done this on one side. Find a place where it fits nice, and you want to make sure that toe clamp's really in there. And just snug it down. Hand tight it first, really. Sometimes these washers on here move around, so you're going to want to make sure that it's actually tight, and that should be good. Do it under here too. And then, like last time, you're going to want to get the same guy to do all the torques. We don't use torque wrenches usually, and so it's nice to have that same guy doing about the same torque, just from feel and from, you know, just muscle mass that guy has. So you're going to want to do both sides, and then we'll show you what to do after that.